This is an RTX Pro 6000, and as you can see, there is no PCB inside right now. What we have is just the cooler, while the rest of the parts, including the PCB and the PCIe connector assembly, is sitting separately in this box. The customer told me that he tried to install a water block, and during that installation, one of the inductor broke off. You can already see thermal pads everywhere, and the whole thing looks a bit messy. But the real question is, where exactly did this damage happen? Along with this card, I also received another RTX Pro 6000 PCB, and interestingly, it suffered this exact same problem. We will come back to this second board later, but for now, let's focus on this first one. The customer also sent the broken inductor separately in a small packet so it would not get misplaced. Looking at it closely, you can immediately see how tiny this inductor is. They are nothing like the large inductor you normally see on other graphic cards. In fact, you also find the same style inductor on the RTX 5090 Founders Edition. After inspecting the board carefully, I found the exact location where the inductor had broken off. Under the microscope, I could still see part of the bottom of the inductor stuck to the board. Looking at the broken part itself, I could see the marking 85N. Although that marking doesn't really tell us the value, the actual value of this inductor is 0.22 microhenry. From the surrounding circuit, it appears to be a part of either a 5-volt rail or a 1.8-volt rail. There are no schematics available for this board, but the design is very similar to that of a RTX 5090 circuit, which gives a rough idea of what's going on here. The next step was to clean the area and figure out how to reinstall this inductor properly. While checking the rest of the board, I did not see any obvious physical damage. The I/O panel, which carries the display port and the HDMI connector, is mounted on a flexible strip and looks extremely delicate. Then we have the separate PCIe connector PCB, which is basically just traces and the connector itself. I'm sure many of you have already heard stories about this design. I had to be very careful handling all of this. Not just because this is an expensive GPU, but because replacement parts for something like this is not exactly easy to come by. Now, it was time to put the broken inductor back onto the board. Since this is quite a thick PCB, I started by applying flux to the area. First, I wanted to remove the piece of the inductor that was still stuck onto the board. So I mixed in some leaded solder to lower the melting temperature and make the removal easier. Once the broken remnants were cleared, I tinned the pad so they could be ready to accept the inductor again. Next, I had to prepare the original inductor itself. I checked online and could not find any replacement for it. It is like a custom made part specifically for Nvidia, because I do not see this exact inductor being used by other AIB partners. It seems to show up only on the Founders Edition RTX 5090 and now on this RTX Pro 6000. Looking at the bottom of the broken inductor under the microscope, I could still see exposed metal legs, which meant the part could actually be reused. So I applied flux to the inductor, tinned those exposed metal sections with leaded solder, and got it ready for installation. With both the board and the inductor prepared, it was time to solder it back in place. I preheated the area, melted the solder on the pads, and carefully dropped the inductor into position. After that, I checked the area closely to make sure there are no solder bridges or shorts to the nearby components. Once the first board was done, it was time to move on to the second RTX Pro 6000. This one had failed in the exact same location as the first one. That makes me think the water block design may be too tight in this area, or possibly the thermal pads are too thick and putting too much pressure on that section of the board. On the second PCB, I repeated exactly the same process. I removed the broken fragments, tinned the pad on the board, tinned the bottom of the original inductor, preheated the area, and dropped the part back into place. At one point, I did accidentally bridge a resistor and a capacitor nearby, but that was cleared. And after inspection, the inductor was sitting properly and securely. If you need a repair on your GPU, head over onto my website gpusolutions.net and you can easily book your repair there. You'll receive a ticket number after submission. Most of the emails are automated. When I update the findings on your GPU, you'll receive an email with the case notes. This is all automated. Now, it was time to test the repair and see if the board would actually boot. I had to be very careful here because both the PCIe connector assembly and the display cable feel extremely fragile. I even had to support the power connector by hand just to offset the weight and avoid putting strain on the assembly. At first, I could not get an image through the capture card, even though the monitor itself was displaying fine. So clearly, that was not the best test setup. After that, I assembled the board back onto the cooler and installed the GPU properly onto the bench. This time, the capture card was able to detect the signal correctly. I waited for the drivers to install, checked GPU-Z to make sure everything was being detected properly, and then ran FurMark to confirm the card was stable. At this stage, the cooler was installed only for basic verification. These GPUs are going back into water blocks anyway, so I'm only needed to confirm that the repair had worked and the board was booting and functioning normally. I then removed the cooler again so I could install the second PCB and repeat the same validation process. That testing was done in the background because there was no need to show the exact same test sequence twice. If you're wondering why I did not run superposition or other extended tests, the reason is simple. This was not a case of unstable memory or crashing under load, or a fault that requires deep validation. The issue here was a physically broken inductor that prevented the GPU from booting. So once the board powered up properly, initialized correctly, and passed a basic stress test, that was enough to confirm the repair. Once the testing of the second board is completed, both of these RTX Pro 6000 cards are ready to go back to its owner in Saudi Arabia. Thank you for watching and I'll see you in my next one. Bye for now. Cheers.